Welcome to Spain. Buenos dias, Tanya.
Buenos dias. How's it going?
It's going muy bueno. I'm talking to you. It's
Oh,
the
good.
highlight of my day.
Oh, how nice. Ditto. Back at you. I have an Our Spain,
Okay,
which is
lay it
quite
on
a
us.
nice one, I think. So we have, if you've been listening, you know that we've been moving. We are now in our little town that's closer to Valencia, not up in the hills. And so we can walk out of our apartment now and go see things, which is wonderful.
Your move is finalized. It's done. We
Well,
can
it's
we
never
can
done,
talk about
people. It is never
it.
done. There's so much to do. But what was nice today is we were taking Blaze for a walk, and it's Sunday. Okay. So nothing is open because we are still in a small little pueblo. So there is
hmm
nothing open. And I was thinking, oh, I'm just going to go out, and maybe the only people I'm going to run into are other people walking their dogs, basically, probably. It was bustling. Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, what is going on? And nothing is going on. It's literally, we came out at a time of the day when people are coming back from church. The kids have got the bikes. The kids are running around. They're going from now that everyone's moving homes to have their Sunday lunch with their other family
hmm
members. So there's just, was out moving houses.
Moving houses, but they weren't going to cafes or anything like
No,
that. Not all of that's closed
no,
too.
it's all closed. Like there's nothing
But
going
the
on.
streets are bustling.
You can't go to the grocery store. You can't do anything today. You can't
Right.
do anything at all. But it's yeah, and in fact I only saw one other person with a dog. It was all people moving homes, like getting to their Sunday lunch because it's still very, we're in a small town, so there's just a lot of like families, many generations of
Right.
families living
Right.
together here still. So not together, obviously, in slightly different homes because they had to
Right.
move.
but on the other note too, it is a gorgeous day. So what a great day to go
True,
visit grandma because it is
for
the
sure.
skies are blue and gorgeous
It is
today.
the kind of day that you could cook your paella in one house and walk it over to the other house, as we've
Right.
discussed people doing. So I was surprised to see things because I know the places that I've lived in America and possibly in England too, if there are no shops open, no one's out doing anything,
Right. The
right?
streets are dead.
It's
Yeah.
dead. There's no reason to be out. Yeah, it's so
Right.
that was nice. It was nice to go out and just see people, and people are out doing just fun things, and there was people at the skate park, and yeah, it was nice. So that was my sort of Spain, the Sunday,
Well,
nice
well,
day.
that's a lovely husband. We have not left our house yet today on Sunday. We are
Well,
recording this today on a Sunday in case
we
y'all
are
didn't figure that out.
no, and
It's
in all
airing a
fact,
little later than a Sunday, but we're recording it on
yes,
Sunday.
yeah, exactly. So that is, well, we have to record when we can record.
Exactly. we are raising families in Spain,
We
so
are, yes, and working.
and working and
Um,
all those things
yeah,
and
so
living.
so we're going to start a new series today, which I hope you will find amusing. And
Yes.
we are calling it There Are No Stupid Questions. We are obviously online a lot. We try to help people online when people ask questions, but there's a lot of questions that come up over and over again. And so sometimes they might be phrased in a way that is not correctly the way you would want to do it if you want if you want people to be nice back at you. So people are often not very nice online, just I think sometimes just
Are you
because
trying to tell me the internet's getting to be a place where there might be bullying going on?
sometimes
I don't know where you're getting that from because I just see nothing but love and rainbows on
well,
the
we all want to live in
internet.
your world, but for the rest of us that don't,
No, people can be
people
very
can be
harsh.
brutal. And I think sometimes it's just the way the question is phrased. And you and I have talked about this a lot. And I think sometimes the actual question, which might be a legitimate one about living in Spain and people that haven't moved here yet, or even people that are here and trying to adjust. The question behind the allegedly stupid question is what we're looking at.
Right.
And we're going to answer it, and we're going to answer it kindly with actual information, hopefully. And, it might give people more knowledge about living in Spain.
Exactly. I mean, and people forget that they were newbies once, and so
Mm-hmm.
they had stupid questions. And
Oh,
then once
yeah.
you live there for a year or two, you know,
And
then you're
also
like,
yeah. Oh,
then
yeah.
how did you not know that? Well, you
Right?
didn't know it either.
Right? There was a point. Did you forget that maybe I mean, do you know how many people helped me to do the things that and still we've been here 5
Right.
years, still people need to help me with things. And then there's also people that are maybe much younger than us that have maybe not ever really lived outside of home.
Right.
So you cannot imagine some of the stupid things that I did. But I mean, when I was like 18 or whatever and first moving out of home, I mean, we've all been in a position where probably at some point in our life where we have maybe not done the right thing and it turned into a bit of a problem, right? And so did you have any? Or am it just me?
Oh no, I'm sure. You know what? I'll have to wrap my brain. I mean, I remember those first couple years having your first apartment, calling home a lot, being like, "How do you do this?"
Right.
Like things like fuses. If you don't know how to use a fuse box, you don't know what that is.
Or if you've never known that it existed.
Right. I mean, in my house, it was always in the basement. It was behind I never saw it open. So,
right.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Well, I did.
And then you call your dad, and your dad's like, "You idiot!
God.
What do you mean? You flipped the thing?" Like, well, you never told
right?
me that before.
If they never told you, you should have like learned by osmosis or something. I put the liquid soap that is in the kitchen into the dishwasher, which creates...
like the Dawn.
Oh, yes. Do you know how much do you know how many bubbles that creates?
Yeah, I do know because I hate to say, well, you didn't grow up in the States, so you didn't have the sitcom. So I feel like every sitcom had an episode where the dishwasher.
So I would have known
out.
this if I'd grown up in the States and seen all these sitcoms. And let me tell you, I don't know what those look like. It's for real how much soap was probably filling those kitchens.
Like, was it seeping out through the front and everything?
Oh, for sure. But then the other problem is that you open it, you can maybe try and get the soaps out, but the soap, and you put it back on again and it just keeps going. You can't get the soap out. So anyhow, so we're going to try to be nice because we've all done silly things. So
we've all done silly things.
Yeah. Do you want to start with one?
I'll start. So the first one here, and I have to say, someone had asked, I mean, I've seen this come up a few times, which is there wall-to-wall carpeting in Spain? And the people were coming back very harsh. I think that's a valid question. Like, it is very rare here. I have never seen it. But in America, a lot of places have no such thing as tile and hardwood floors. You know, like it's like kind of like a major city with a big rental turnover market, like a New York City. You're not going to find wall to wall, but you move to Vegas or Arizona and even LA for that example, you'll find hardwood and you'll find wall to wall carpeting. So it's not a
hardwood is also, I think, higher end. It is anyway, wall to wall carpeting. Like when I lived in places that were kind of like these apartment buildings that were just kind of, like you said, turning over. It was wall-to-wall carpeting. You rip it out, you put it in, it's probably cheap. You muck up wood floors, it starts getting expensive. It's a nice sort of thing to have, and you got to be able to put rugs down. I mean, now for sure, it's definitely more of a fancier thing. I love it here that it's mostly tile floor everywhere. You might find hardwood if someone's put that in, but it's mostly tile everywhere.
And I'll be honest, if someone's put it in, it's not even real hardwood. It's not what used to be hardwood, right? It's not the thick hardwood that you can keep sanding for generation after generation. It's thin little planks that are to be replaced like carpeting. It's going to look pretty junky in a few years.
Or they're like tiles of wood or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, and I will say, if you come from I haven't lived all over America like you have, but I've lived in cold and warm places, and I've had mostly hardwood as well. But I mean, in England, it's wall-to-wall carpeting. It always would be. So same thing as what some people are used to. If you come from a place where it's wall-to-wall carpeting as a standard and you haven't traveled a lot, it is highly legitimate that you've never really experienced anything else. And then you're looking at all these apartments in Spain and there's no carpet anywhere.
None. Right? And it's marble floor. So it's like it's a shock because hardwood floors does give you a sense of warmth into the home, and these cold tile floors, it's and some of them haven't been done since the 50s or 60s.
We've lived in some places with some really
floors.
pretty floors.
Pretty and
like really pretty floors.
Some of these, you're like, was that ever how was orange a color for a tile, like a terrazzo floor? Okay.
No, but I will say, great in the summer because it's nice and cool on the feet. horrible in the winter because it's nice and cool on the feet, but great if
Horrible
you have
mildew.
pets and you need to keep the hair under control. I mean, anybody
Hmm.
that has allergies and you've lived in a place with wall-to-wall carpeting, you're gonna love this because it just the hair kind of swooshes up into
You get
balls.
dust bunnies.
You get
Yep. You
dust
get
bunnies
another
really
pet.
quick. You vacuum it up, you mop, you're done, and it's all
You're
gone.
done. And I will say the bonus, if you're lucky to have a place that's got the marble tile floors, is apartments flood a lot. I know a lot of people who have flood stories, more flood stories than not flood stories. And these tile floors, like
Right.
wood and carpeting,
Hmm.
if your toilet flows, you're sunk.
This is
you know?
also
And
true.
these,
Yeah,
and what is
and to that point too, the structure of the building's also not wood. So
right.
again, bonus, because we had an issue
Bonus,
with our
bonus.
dishwasher when we first moved into our house, and I was freaking out that the house was going to fall down with all the water that had been deposited somewhere inside the building. And the guy was just like, "It's gone. Don't worry about it." I'm like, "What? It's gone." Yeah, it's out.
Right.
The house is made of concrete, and the water's out down the hill.
Right. And what is I just to finish this up with too with the carpeting and the tiles is what struck me as very weird before I moved here, and I was like, that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. I could never live in a place like that. Is these wood, the marble floors and the tile floors, the baseboards isn't wood for the most part. It's that tile up the sides of the wall. So when I first was like, I don't want to live in something that looks like this, an unfilled swimming pool. Well, when your apartment floods, you'll be very happy you don't have wood
Right.
baseboards getting all
This is
messed up and
true.
rotted.
And I have to say, I don't agree with you, and I like that it's got tile baseboards. I like that look. And to close this up, like you were saying, if you want to do wall-to-wall carpeting here, I'm sure you can find someone to do it.
Right, exactly.
But there's nothing to nail it to. So
Right.
you will need
You're
to
gluing it down, yeah.
reconfigure how your
Mhm.
floors are done, I think, to get the wall-to-wall carpeting onto the floor, possibly.
Right.
I'm not a handy
But
person.
if you don't want wall-to-wall carpeting, if that's sometimes they're posing that question,
Mhm.
hey, you don't have to worry about it. You're not going to come across it. You're not going to live in somebody
I
else's
don't think
bacteria,
so. I haven't looked at a lot
right?
of places up north where it's colder, and I don't know what's going on up there. So I
Right.
don't want to speak to the colder parts of Spain, but definitely Valencia, southern. It's not something I've ever gone into someone's
I
house and
haven't seen
seen.
it either.
It wouldn't be
Mm-mm.
practical at all, really.
All right, number 2. Are we numbering these? I guess so.
Why
Number
not?
2.
Just in case we want to know how many we did. Number 2, I guess, if we're going to number them. Okay, so I actually love this because I also was very curious about this, and I'm not sure I've ever asked anybody. When we moved to Spain, the kind of the goop that sort of goes that ends up in the sinks, that if you haven't cleaned it properly, it's pink. Which is
yes.
so cute and lovely, but I don't know why it's pink. And I think it's a very good question because I know in England we have it that it's pink a little bit, and that's definitely some mineral of some sort. But it's hard.
Iron, most likely, yeah, because it's a pinkish orange. I mean, in my apartment, it's a pinkish orange.
Okay.
It's a salmon. It's a salmon colored.
It might be more salmony. In England, I've seen like pink, and I'm like, and that's like hard and definitely part of the water. But I think that mixes sometimes with sort of gunk as well, and then you get a mixture of kind of. It's definitely something. The question is, it definitely needs to be cleaned up. I mean, it's not
Right.
black mold. It's not going to kill you, but it is stuff, and it is pink.
It's a chemical reaction. You think about it, if it's iron ore mixed with whatever chemicals are in your conditioners, there's probably a little scientific experiment going on there.
There might be a scientific experiment that can be done there, but it's definitely, I've never lived somewhere where the gunk in my sink in the bathroom is pink ever. So that was new to me.
Right. Well, I grew up, like as we said earlier, all over. So we had a home in Indiana that was on well water, and our whites would always have an orange
Oh,
tinge to them.
interesting.
You'd have to bleach them a lot because
Okay.
if you didn't, you'd get this orange, and the showers in the tubs would have like an orange ring around it,
Oh.
not from our filth, but because of it building
Are
up,
you
which is how my
sure?
showers, yes, I'm
You want
sure.
all just
And
orange?
and the water's so hard here too. So
Mm-hmm.
like, your tiles, you have to scrub them
Yeah,
frequently if you want them to be shiny and sparkly for
that's
sure.
true. Yeah. And I think you can, I mean, like I said, you would clean it like you would anything else, and you can use vinegar and everything. And maybe you need to scrub it a little bit more because it is like sedated, like bits of minerals and things that might, if you don't clean
Hmm.
it, it's going to start to get harder to come off, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
And they make some great products that are
they
easy if you
do.
forget to do it for a
There is
while.
a lot of, I will say, yeah, to that point, because of the hardness of the water here in most parts of Spain, not all parts of Spain, but most of them,
Hmm.
but here in Valencia for sure, there are a lot of decalcifying products that you can buy for dishwashers and cleaning and everything, so that
And
you'll,
drinking
yeah.
water, and people spend fortunes on different purifications, but if you feel you need to, but
Hmm.
I don't know.
We like to have a water filter, but we don't soften the water. In
Hmm.
England, my mom has a big water softener, and that is something that you can do and put in. It's a lot of salt. We tried one that was a different method of didn't use salt, and it really didn't work very well. So I think the salt is really what works a lot, but that requires
Hmm.
mounds and mounds of salt to be put
Mounds of
in
salt. Yeah, we had that in
constantly.
our house in Indiana, and you have to buy these
Yeah,
50-pound bags of
yeah,
salt,
it's
and
a whole
and
thing.
all it really did was like it made the water really slickery,
Hmm.
like slickery, and like it wouldn't really suds up well.
And it's
Like it
very
was
hard
like,
to get off your skin. The soap, right?
you just don't feel clean.
No.
Yeah, you just feel
Yeah,
slimy
yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's too soft, right? So
Maybe there's a middle ground. You can soften it just a little. I don't know.
now, this third question, if I may add, or the third topic, I will have to, this one was a little hard for me because it is a sincere question, but a lot of people pose this question without really detailing
Oh,
who they
yeah.
are. So the question begets, unfortunately, internet rage. I don't agree with internet rage,
Hmm.
but I think people are like, why are you asking this question? And, to those people, you can move
You can
on.
move on.
You don't have to speak.
Hmm.
But what city do you recommend for a family with kids? That's
It's,
posed
I've
that
seen
way.
that
It's an
so
impossible
many
question to
times.
answer.
Like, if you're going to pose a question, put some details in because no one can help you, right?
Right.
And it's a
Like,
city,
how old are your kids? Do they have learning challenges?
right?
Are they outdoorsy? Do they need ballet classes? Because some little town in the mountains isn't going to
Right.
satisfy that
But often
urge,
it's like
right?
city, and it's like, okay,
Right.
well, there's plenty of people with kids living in all the cities. So that
Like, all the cities
all the
have
cities
kids
have
in
kids
them.
in them. It's shocking. So it's like you need to narrow down for you, and no one else can help you with that, of what it is you're looking
Right.
for in a city, because any city will have a lot,
Everything you
everything that
need,
you
pretty
need,
much.
right? So then it has
Right.
to has to come back to what you actually want. And the second thing that we see that I'm sure this is asked in all the different forums in all the different cities, which is, what part of the city should I live with kids? Same thing. We don't know your kids or you, what age your
Right.
kids are, whatever. So it's like, you have to be, if you want to ask that question, be more specific. I mean, Valencia definitely has quieter neighborhoods, and ones that are a bit more busy and not quite as, a bit more noisy. So it's like, it there are we people can help.
Right. And also, really, you can't. So, say if you've picked your city, the area of the city, you can't really get advice until you've lived here. Always rent your first year,
Hmm.
because unless you visited for a month before, because you're not going to know what quiet means to you. I mean, when people say to me, Valencia is a noisy city, I'm like, have you ever lived in a city? Like, that's
Hmm.
my first knee jerk reaction, because to me, this city it's in silent mode, except during Fias. But, I've lived in New York and LA where there's sirens
Oh my
going off
god,
24 hours a
helicopters,
day,
woo.
helicopters and people screaming. And here, every once in a while, you hear something, because it's also so quiet. Sometimes it seems louder, but if
Right.
it's not loud, right? And then there are neighborhoods like, I hear a lot of people complain that the old town is too loud, but we were there last weekend to go see a museum, and like, whenever I go to Old Town during the day, it's dead. It's dead.
Right.
It's so quiet during the day when you walk
Yeah.
through El Carmen. I don't know what it's like at night. I've never been there at night. We don't live there. We don't go out there. So maybe there's a lot of clubs there. But during the day, to me, it's perfectly silent. It's scary.
Right.
It's almost too scary. Like
No,
there's
that's
no one
true.
there.
Yeah, and also even just living out of the city. I mean, I think what you recommended is absolutely what you should do, which is try and rent so that you can get to know the area. We did that, and we still ended up sort of, because we thought we wanted something. So we ended up up a
Mm-hmm.
hill. We needed to drive everywhere, but we had the garden and the pool that we wanted. And then we kind of realized that maybe that wasn't what we wanted. So, you
Right.
still can make mistakes because you don't know, you're moving to a new country. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know how things are. You don't know, we had got very used to using a car for everything living in America and the places that we lived. And we thought,
Mm-hmm.
we were like, that's fine. But we actually sort of got to a point in our life, I think, where we felt like we don't want to do that anymore. So even though we knew
Right.
that was something that we did and we were fine with it there, when we got after some time here, we kind of that changed, right? Because you're also still
Right.
evolving as a person and as a family, and so things do
And you
change,
could stayed in Northern Virginia and be like, I don't want to drive
right?
anymore. We're moving into DC because I refuse to drive anymore. Right. Like
Right, that could
you
happen
could get to that point.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your kids get older and they need more flexibility. It's nice to be somewhere more rural when you have small kids, or some people with small
Mm-hmm.
kids want to be in the city. Like whatever it is that you like might also change.
Right. So if you're posing that question, be more specific about what
Yeah, and
your
then people
needs
can
are,
help you.
but also be
Yeah.
willing to travel and stay there for a while because we I've said this before, this apartment landed into our lap kind of a thing, and we love this neighborhood, but now we've been here for a couple of years. We need to buy something. We've been renting too long. And I love this neighborhood. I am not any way, shape, or tied to this neighborhood to live here
Hmm.
anymore. We've done it for 3 years. And so I'm kind of glad we didn't buy because I'm like, now there's other
Right.
neighborhoods. Maybe
Find
I want to
something new.
experience where there's different lifestyle going
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, you just never know, right? Okay, I
Hmm.
love this next one, and I'm so I'm like that's laughing like ahead of the question. Sorry.
You say it, then I got to say what I got to say about
Oh my
this.
god. You make me say it. Okay. This there's so much to this question. How do you get I can't say it. How do you get two baking sheets at a time into one of the little Spanish ovens? And is
Yes.
is
Hmm.
Spain the only country that has tiny ovens?
So Spain is not the only. I what I would venture to say is America is the only country
Like
with large
that this is
ovens.
true. And my mom actually has two ovens in her kitchen in England, and one of them is small and one of them is regular size. And it's really, really
Regular size, like Europe
regular
size, regular
Europe
or like
size, not
America
regular
regular.
American size,
Okay.
but a decent size. You can put three like layers in there. But what's nice is that if you're only cooking a little bit, a small oven heats up faster. It's more eco-friendly for
Hmm.
that, and you can get going quicker. So there are benefits to having small ovens, but obviously not practical if that's the only one you have.
Right, but the ovens are small in Spain, coming from America. They are small. I've never I've now I did have a small oven in my last apartment in LA,
Mm.
and but what I liked about that difference in this one, it was narrow but deep.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So here they're narrow and
and
not
not
deep.
deep.
So you're like, so here's the question is, when I moved into this apartment, this question could be valid because I mean all questions are valid. There are no stupid questions. That is
Hmm.
the point of this. But my oven only came with one rack,
Oh,
but they had all the
but did it
things.
have the
So I
lines? Did it have the thing?
it has
Okay,
the
yeah,
lines. So I just went to Amazon
and
and
ordered another
ordered
one.
an extra
Okay.
rack. So I can fit two baking sheets. So maybe they just need to order another rack. Maybe there only has one rack.
Possibly,
You
and
know, maybe
also
only.
like legitimately, if you come, like we spoke before, like if you're young and you've never left America and this is your first time in Spain and you got like an efficiency type apartment and it has a very very small oven in it, that person could even have an oven that's small for Spain, right?
Yeah, it could be a toaster oven size
Yeah.
oven in
But
like a
I will
studio
say when I
apartment. It could
moved
be.
from, and maybe because I grew up in England, I didn't notice it quite as much. But I think generally I'd lived in America for 25 years. I feel like I had got very acclimatized to everything there versus Europe. I was
Hmm.
not, the size of the oven, I didn't notice the differences in the size of the oven. What I noticed was the difference in the sizes of the fridges.
Yeah, those are much
Yeah.
smaller here,
So
and I miss my side by
and
side
that's what we
American
got, and
fridge.
that's what we have.
Yeah,
So we have adjusted our kitchens to accommodate a side by side fridge. And part of that is because we wanted a big fridge. And the other part is I'm very short and my husband's very tall. So we can never agree on where to put the freezer. Should it be at the top or the
if
bottom?
it's too
Right? Because one of
right.
us is going to be put out by that. So we just agreed for our marriage to have a side by side. So that's also a
Right.
marriage decision, not just a free. But that I didn't notice the oven. I haven't had a problem doing like cooking the things that I've wanted to cook here.
I can get everything done. I'm lucky that my oven has a warming tray
Oh,
underneath it.
that's
But if
unique.
I wanted to, like, when do Thanksgiving dinner, I have to do the math. I have to do the math of the
Yeah.
things because I can't cook like a turkey and something underneath. No oven in Spain is going to allow you to cook a roast and a tray of like a casserole tray underneath.
Right.
They're just not that tall. You can take your roast out and then put 2 levels of casserole trays in,
Right.
2 baking pans in, right? And so you have to do that math if you're going to get a roast going on,
That's true.
kind of thing. And I've lived and it's fine. And it is nice having the oven that heats up very quickly. Like,
Yeah.
the preheating's 10-15 minutes, not a half an
Right.
hour or longer.
And I will say I'm not a like connoisseur of cooking cookies per se, but in my experience, you don't want to stack cookies in an oven because the ones underneath are not going to cook the same way as the ones on top. So when I cook cookies,
But that's why you flip them.
you flip cookies while they're cooking?
Well, not flip, flip the
right.
trays.
Oh, okay.
You move the
oh my
tray.
god, the cookies! I'm like, oh my god, what's going on?
You don't flip your
What? I
cookies?
know. I thought you were telling me something really unique here, but I don't want to. I want to just put them in and then they come out and then I put the next one in. So that's how I cook if I'm doing cookies anyway, is I do them in batches like that so that it's like completely. I will sometimes when I had an oven that wasn't very good, I might have to turn them, but I'm not like, no, I'm not flipping them.
I flip and turn.
No.
I swap the trays and turn them.
That's far too much work. I do one, I come back and I do the other. So this is maybe why I'm not like, why do you need 2 baking sheets in an oven to start with? I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was interesting because they, like you said, they are smaller, but it hasn't been as much of an issue for us as I think the fridge is. Bigger issue.
Right.
And even the washers and dryers, also probably quite a bit smaller.
They're much smaller. If you're lucky to even have a dryer, which I don't.
Well, speaking of washers and dryers,
this
is the first time now having my washer and dryer next to each other since I've moved to Spain. I feel.
Yeah, I don't need to hear about your wealth. Okay, I don't need to hear about your privilege.
We have less room here than we did in the house.
Because I've been waiting for humidity to change, so I finally am doing laundry today because we're at like below 50% humidity.
Yeah, now I'm with you. I'm not going to argue with you about humidity. When we got back from England, it was so humid in the apartment. I'm like, oh my god, yeah. It's different because now we're close to
and then
a
it's
beach.
Cold and humid and you just can't
cold
get the
and
chill on your
humid,
bones.
right? So it's like you feel it's weird. Yeah, that's a weird feeling. Yeah.
All right, so our next one, so this comes up a lot, and this one to me, I'm okay. Let me just say it, and then I'm going to say my kind of not beef with this, beef about a lot of this, and it's not directed at the people asking. It's kind of all inclusive, which is. So the question is, it's like for people who've lived here for a while, are you getting more vegetables? What's kind of your diet? Is the food healthier? All of that kind of stuff, right? They are asking about and what about salads? And they ask about all this. And we've had food episodes and we've talked about this. And vegetables are hard to find in restaurants. Not going to happen outside of an eggplant and a potato and a sliced tomato, right? Like
and an artichoke.
And an artichoke. And salads are not a thing. I mean, a salad here is potatoes with tons of mayonnaise and tuna. It's not, you're not getting green salads. There was a huge green salad place in the city. It closed down.
I just walked by one the other day, but the prices for a salad, I'm like, you might as well go to the store and chop up your own, although I'm sure
right. That's the other one, right? Yeah, there was another one. I've been by that, which was like, what, 14 euros? I'm like, no, I'm not spending that on a salad. And that's California pizza kitchen prices. That's American prices. I ain't doing that and And the other thing is people will pipe in that they're like their health has gotten so much better because the food here is so much better. I'm I'm gonna say no, that's not necessarily true. The food it's cured, there are preservatives, there are less the amount that they're allowed to use, but they still have to preserve food to stay on the shelves. Things don't last as long. But
And also the
you
ones
still
they
have to
use might be better because they
might be
have higher
better for you,
regulations
but
here than they do in America for sure.
right, but to think you're living in this pesticide free organic world and you're going to shed 80 pounds when you first move here and all your ailments are going to be gone. That's not going to happen. You are you are still a human being and there's still things going on. And so you do have to search out for your vegetables. You have to cook
Yeah.
at home if you want more green, and the food still has preservatives and chemicals. They still have bugs in the fields that they have to not have eat the
So you still
crops.
have to
So
buy eco if you really want completely free of pesticides, everything food. They have an eco section in the supermarkets, so you can do that. They don't have the type of pesticides that they're using in the fields is not they have a lot of banned ones here that are not banned in the states that
right.
are known for causing cancer. That's not to say they're great. I'm not promoting them, but there is a lot that they're not
Right.
allowed to use. So that is better. But you are 100% right. I mean, if you want to eat a lot of vegetables, you're cooking at home, or maybe going to a super fancy
Hmm.
restaurant. I don't know, like that maybe does things, but then you know,
Like there's very few like
yeah.
vegan restaurants. I don't want to say very few, but it is not a thing. So there are
Mm-hmm.
vegan restaurants here. There are like you can find these places, but to think you're going to find all these options at every restaurant,
No, it's a
not
lot. The
necessarily
tapas
so.
here in this part of Spain are a lot of fried tapas, and you can
Hmm.
pick the better ones. But I will agree with you that the food is delicious here. But I wouldn't call it
Hmm.
the Mediterranean diet that you would be thinking of. There's not as much sort of fish sort of grilled in just olive oil and herbs that you maybe in other parts
Right.
of the Mediterranean that you might find.
And I would venture to say that people are thin here, not because of the diet, but because of the portions that
Mm-hmm.
they eat and how they eat and
Yeah.
when they eat. Because nothing on your plate says healthy, skinny food, skinny people food.
Yes. Or genetics, who
Right.
knows?
Yeah.
So you can cook at home and eat as much vegetables as you want. There's amazing amount of availability of fruit and vegetables and food and everything. You can get whatever you want, and some delicious markets and that you can go shopping in. But if you go out to eat, yeah, it's gonna be hard
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a
For
salad?
sure.
No, I don't think I've ever.
I did see one. I went to one place that had a green salad and it was covered in so much salad dressing. I was like, this is more like a cold soup.
This is it. Yeah.
Now the sauce was the dressing was
Right.
delicious, but it was
But I mean, America's pretty famous for that too. It's like, here's your healthy salad, right?
right. And it's got
Right.
1,700 calories in it because they put
Right.
so much other stuff in
Exactly.
it too, right?
Exactly.
Oh, I love this chopped salad. That's got like 17 different kinds of nuts. It's got fried chicken in it. Here, but it's a salad. I'm
Oh my
healthy.
God.
All right, you do number 6 as you cough
Why,
away. This
why,
one's good for
why am I
you.
getting the allegedly crazy ones? Oh my gosh. Again, um, it's how you phrase a question, I think. Does does Spain have a seasonal flu and cold season? I'm not sure that's a real question, but it is.
Right.
And
Right.
I have heard I've seen quite a few posts talking about this as if somehow other countries don't have what America has in this regard.
Hmm. Or other countries, wherever you're visiting.
You made me want to cough. So
Oh, I'm leaving that in because that's appropriate.
I think what's interesting is that Spain and Italy were probably the most like stringent COVID lockdown countries. So
Hmm.
I know that COVID doesn't necessarily exactly fall into the seasonal flu and cold seasonal that it does now, but I mean, you would have to not have seen any of that, you know. And yes, it's the same here. And if you got young kids, you're going to be in the same position as you were wherever you came from.
It's the same worldwide. When the weather drops and people are trapped
Mhm.
inside, colds and flus
Yeah.
spread. You know, it's the opposite if you're coming from the southern
Mhm.
hemisphere. Your cold or flu season is the opposite ends.
And if your kids are licking other kids, that's what happens.
That's
And they
what
bring it
happens.
home and they lick you, and yay.
Now, I will say that what is different here is, you know, your allergies are going to
Mhm.
change.
Yeah.
So if what you might not be allergic to anything and move here and think you have a cold year round, well, your body is adjusting to the new molds and pollens and germs and
Yeah.
smogs and all those kinds of things that you're not used to. So my allergies shifted. So I have allergies now when I didn't used to have allergies. Like now I get allergies this time of year. This last couple of weeks, it's
It's been
because
so
of the
windy.
winds, the
Yeah.
humidity. I don't know what it is, and I have been like wanting to rip my eyes out.
And this
of
is what
my
I'm
head.
suffering from, as it turns out, is a sinus infection from allergies. And
Mhm.
Valencia is probably the windiest place I've ever lived. And I'm not saying it's not windy all the time. It's not crazy bananas, but when it's windy,
Right.
it is windy.
Yes. I will say it's that wind that makes the summer doable
That's true.
during the day. Also miserable at night because for some reason that wind dies down at like
Right.
9 p.m. and you're just stilling in this
Right.
thickness of
Why is
swampiness.
that?
But during the day, it's 100 and you're out in the streets and you're like, oh, I can
This is
sit
so
outside.
true. And my
This isn't
allergies
horrible.
shifted. I mean, at different time when I lived in LA from when I lived in Virginia, and then again here. Here it seems to be much more random. Like you said, I've never had allergies in
Mhm.
December. Like that to me is bananas. I don't know
Right.
what's, but then it's a
Like everyone's supposed to be dead and I'm supposed to have a reprieve. Like
right.
when I lived in New York, it was 1 week in the fall, 1 week in the spring, miserable. Then I moved to LA and my allergies were kind of year round because it depended. Is it Santa
Mhm.
Ana's? Is there rains? Like they just would come and go and there was no season because
Yeah.
LA doesn't have seasons,
Right.
right? It just has what's the weather condition this week.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, I was still seem to be here because we have a climate similar to LA. It's things are
Mhm.
growing all year round. So there's
Right.
always the possibility. There's always the possibility of something getting up your nose.
Something, yeah. The winds and the
Mhm.
humidity can change. Like, yeah, when we get those like week-long rainstorms, I'm like, something's what's spores
Yep.
are brewing.
For
Spores are
sure.
coming in the air.
Yes. So we have all the same things and buckle up.
So should we end this with a lucky number
Yeah, let's do
7?
that. You go for it.
Okay, so for someone who has had lots of dental issues his entire life, I can answer this one. For people that ask about like what is like the teeth cleaning schedule and what is dentistry like here, and what I have noticed, and this is we've talked about healthcare before, is you have to stay on top of your stuff, and they also don't follow the schedules, and they're also not a money grab machine. So for me, in for years, I have been told I need 3 to 4 teeth cleaning a year. I have very weak enamel. I have very bad teeth. I also haven't had cavities in like 10 years, so it's worked for me. I go to my dentist here and I pay for it because the insurance will only
I
give
was
you
gonna
one
say,
free dental
they do
cleaning.
give
So
you one,
a
and
year.
they do mine always. That's the only thing where they text me and say, "Hey, it's time to have your cleaning."
Oh,
Yeah.
and mine don't. But we're in there all the time because my daughters are
Right.
getting braces. So
They know
we're in
you.
there
You're
every month
sleeping
no
there.
matter
It's
what.
fine.
They know. But the dental cleanings are not going to be anything like you've had in the States. They're not using the tools. They're not scraping. It's going to be that ultrasoundy,
Oh, I hate that
picky
water
thing
pick.
with the
Ugh.
motor. I hate that thing, and it makes me and
Yeah.
that's all they're doing. They're not scrubbing they're not doing that deep clean, which I missed my deep clean from the States, and I have to ask for it, and they'll do it, but you have to make
You
sure
have
you
to
ask
pay
for
extra
it.
for it, from what I've experienced. That is
And you have to
not
pay.
that
Yeah,
is
you have to
not
pay extra for it.
the once a year cleaning that you get. If you want an extra deep, it's going to
It's
be
not the
it's going to be an
standard.
extra thing.
So I went back. I'm going to tell you my little side story. I just went to the dentist a couple months ago for an extra cleaning, and the hygienist was cleaning my mouth. And after 5 minutes, he was like, "I'm done." I'm like, "But you didn't do anything." He's like, "You don't need it."
Oh.
He's like, "You don't need the cleaning. You were in here 3 months ago." I'm like, "Yeah, but I want one every 3 months and blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Yeah, but you don't. Like, I'm just going to damage your teeth if I keep doing this stuff. You're fine. Your gums are fine." I'm like, "My other dentist," he was like, "Yeah, your other dentist was in it for the money. I'm not in it for the money."
Are you sure your teeth enamel weren't damaged because of the amount of cleanings that you did in the States?
Right. I mean, no, it's a genetic thing from it's unfortunately genetic and not genetic. It's what's that word? When congenital, when it happens to you after birth.
Okay, something happened. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I was just kidding.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
No, it's okay. I'll take it. It's fine.
I didn't mean to make you cry.
And so now here's the thing is, we'll see if I get cavities the next time I go, because maybe they're wrong. My other guy is right, but it's not the same as it was. No, for sure. You have to be on top of your cleanings, especially if you went twice a year.
No, for sure. Yeah. Right. But otherwise.
And I will say what's different in the States, like I remember in the States, even if you went twice a year, when you were walking out, they were scheduling the 6 months. They don't do that here. They don't schedule you a year in advance.
No, we get a text message saying you need to come in, but that's it. If you don't schedule it, I think they'll just kind of let it go. It is like you said at the beginning of this question. It's very different here. You have to be on top of your own stuff medically. No one's coming after you to make sure that you're still alive or your teeth are clean.
No one's coming after you. Exactly. And that does take a lot to get used to, because I am used to having mine handheld through my medical care.
I need an assistant to take care of everything, all the things I need to keep up on.
Me too. I also think they're also, like I said, it's not the money grab. So they have someone making sure all these appointments are getting booked. So the doctors have to be booked
24/7, right? Otherwise, they're not going to make the money they need to. Very different here for that. So the flip side of that is you have to take care of it yourself. But it also means maybe we'll see. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're not, that you don't need that many. And maybe 2 is enough. Yeah.
I'll let you know in a few months' time.
Keep us posted on your teeth.
Well, on that note, Tanya, until next time.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Our Spain Poco a Poco. Since you love us so much, please do go on to our social media and follow us and like us and subscribe where you're listening, because it really does help us to grow and stick around and do what we are very much enjoying doing.
And, give us a shout out on the social medias. Give us a comment on what you would like to hear us talk about. I mean, we like to hear ourselves speak, but we do want to make this, informative for our listeners.
Absolutely, yeah. You can comment on one of our posts, or you can send us a message through our Spain Facebook page or Instagram. So we would love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. Till the next episode.
Bye.